Today, we're taking a thrilling journey back in time to one of the most electrifying periods in art history, New York City in the 1980s. And at the heart of this pulsating art scene, none other than the phenomenal Jean-Michel Basquiat. Let's get things started. Imagine New York City in its early 1980s. The Big Apple is a cultural hub of sorts, with an abundance of energy. Graffiti turns subway cars into moving canvases. Punk rock emanates from underground clubs, while art spills out onto the streets from galleries as well. Basquiat was one of the people who marked this vibrant and disordered world. Certainly, Basquiat was not your ordinary artist. Oh no. Be that as it may, he blazed forth like a firecracker by starting out as a graffiti artist, spraying his provocative phrases on city walls using the pseudonym Samo. The rise to stardom for Basquiat took almost no time at all, since he made the transition from being just a street artist to becoming one of those much admired personalities in the world of art within a blink named Neo-Expressionism. The New York art scene in the 1980s is worth exploring. It was chaotic, it was capricious, and it was omnipresent. Art did not reside in stuffy galleries or museums alone. No, it thrived throughout every corner of the city. Artists turned derelict structures into makeshift studios and transformed seedy nightclubs into temporary art venues. That period marked a time when everything changed for good. Basquiat? He felt at home there. Give this a thought. You are out on town late in the evening. You walk into an establishment hoping to dance all night, only to find paintings hanging next to the dance floor. Or let's say you're walking around the city and stumble upon an impromptu exhibition happening in someone's tiny apartment. This was what made New York vibrant during that time of 80s. Art wasn't just something you peeped at from afar, but part of your day-to-day existence. Let us look at Basquiat's art. It was like nothing ever seen before by anyone. His paintings were an untamed mix of words, signs, and scratchy figures. They were crude. They were emotional. Everything under the sun, from jazz greats to ancient history, is covered up in them. It looked as though Basquiat simply opened up his mind and poured its content directly on the canvas. That was how enigmatic it might have been to others. Let me tell you, people just couldn't get enough of this stuff. Still, it's important to point out that Basquiat wasn't working in a vacuum. He found himself right in the midst of a lively artistic community, and boy did they rub off on each other. Whom could be among the biggest names Basquiat mingled with? The one and only Andy Warhol, pop art king himself. Basquiat and Warhol really made an odd pair when we are talking about lifestyles and styles here. Young, wild, new kid on the block? That was Basquiat all right. Warhol, older, established, known for being cool and detached artistically. However, unlike two ships passing through darkness during war, their meeting set fireworks off into sky full of colors. These died even working together at times, thus producing their blend of unique works while collaborating on some paintings. Both of them transformed due to their friendship. Basquiat's contact with Warhol, who had rediscovered his ability of painting by hand thanks to the latter's young energy, was a turning point in his career. What about Basquiat? He got a first-hand experience on how it feels to become famous and understood more about art as a business. Admittedly, they were not always going smoothly, but still, there was something indelible left on both of their arts. Basquiat's network of artist friends went on from there. Some other notable names that he hanged out with include Keith Haring, whose style drew heavily from cartons, and Francesco Clemente, who specialized in figurative paintings which were often surreal. These artists did more than just spend time together. They exchanged ideas, influenced one another, and sometimes even worked together on various projects. It felt like an endless creative bash where everyone was welcome. 1980s New York art scene was not just about art making, it was the lifeblood of artists. When it was 5 p.m., artists did not go home. Not a chance. They shared tasks, played, and challenged each other to come up with new creative efforts. One would find them in places like Mud Club or Area hanging out, where the music, fashion, and art collided, creating a beautiful mess of chaos. In most cases, though, Basquiat's found himself right in the middle of it all, getting inspiration from every way. Basquiat's work would have been profoundly influenced by this wild, anything-goes environment. It's like 1980s, New York is represented in his paintings alone. These are full of jazz musicians' names or sports heroes and snippets of street culture. Basquiat had an incredible ability for taking all the explosive energy of the city and turning it into works that almost jump off the page to grab you by your neck collar. But the truth be told, the 1980s art scene was not entirely glitz, glamour, and success. It also had a dark side that is a smashing one. Drugs were a big problem in the art world, and Basquiat got caught up in that whirlwind, which is sad. This pressure of sudden fame, combined with the non-stop at breakneck speed pace of the art world, took its toll on him. Unfortunately, Basquiat's brightness flared out too fast. He died in 1988 at an age that can only be described as devastatingly early, just 27 years old. Yet his short career produced artworks that continue to astound us even till today. His artistic endeavors encapsulate a time and place like no other, the explosive creativity and raw energy of New York during 1980s in a manner only he could have portrayed. Nevertheless, Basquiat's legacy still lingers on as fresh as ever before. Indeed, it becomes more powerful than previously thought. He shattered barriers in art by destroying doors for upcoming artists. To date, his output remains vibrant and pertinent to contemporary society because he addressed such issues as race, identity, and creativity, which we still grapple with every day. This essay explores the continued influence of Basquiat on artists, musicians, and creative minds from the 1980s New York art scene. The style that Basquiat had, that wonderful synthesis of graffiti-inspired expressionism and incisive social commentary, pointed to new directions in art. He proved that art could be raw as well as refined, intimately personal, yet universally significant. Moreover, we should not forget how Basquiat's opened up doors for Black artists. In a largely white-oriented world of art, Basquiat's rapid ascendancy was revolutionary. Many aspiring artists who had felt marginalized within the exclusivity of fine arts industry took him as a role model of possibility. The location where Basquiat lived and worked was a melting pot of creative types in terms of different artistic disciplines which merged with one another. This interdisciplinary approach was informed by cross-fertilization among visual arts, music, clothes design, and street culture now widely observed in our contemporary world. To some extent, this richly fertile ground during the 1980s laid a foundation for modern-day, mixed-media, multidisciplinary world of art. Well, that's it. Basquiat and the wild New York art scene of the 1980s. It was a time of unbridled creativity, fearless collaboration, and the relentless pushing of boundaries. Basquiat, with his unique vision and unstoppable energy, wasn't just part of this scene. He was one of its driving forces, helping to shape and define it.